We're not even going to get close to this, to classify or compare ourselves with some who commend themselves. When they measure themselves by themselves and compare themselves with themselves, they are not wise. Andy Stanley says, there is no win in comparisons. We're going to kill comparisons. It's not wise. We're not going to do it. In fact, we're going to be tempted, but we're not going to do it. I remember the first time that I got crushed by comparisons. I was in junior high, and for a week, I was the king of the world. For I got the first motorized vehicle of any kid in my junior high. I had my very own moped. I was the king. It wasn't really a full-blown moped. It was kind of like a bicycle with a motor because it had a governor that wouldn't let it go above 25 miles an hour downhill, but it didn't have enough power to always go uphill, so it also had pedals. So I was like Nacho Libre, and then if we're going up a hill and it wasn't enough power, like, and I'm pedaling my way up the hill. But Tiffany, who lived around the corner, she thought it was the coolest thing ever. So I'd ride my little moped with my blue helmet over to Tiffany's house. I had a matching blue helmet. I'd ring her doorbell, and she'd get on the back. She'd hold me around the waist, and and her hair would fly out the back thing, and I was the king of the world until Brian Marquardt. I still remember his name, and I hope he's listening to this today. Until Brian Marquardt got a motorcycle. I rang Tiffany's doorbell. She said, I'm not riding with you today. I'm like, why not? She said, 'cause I'm riding with Brian. Like, but I thought, me, hair, blue helmet. She's like, no. I said, you're riding with me? No. I never will forget. Tiffany looked at me and she said, I'm so sorry, but you're Richie Cunningham and I want the Fonz. Hashtag hurts so bad. James 3:14 and 16 says this. I want you to see how dangerous this is. If you harbor bitter envy, okay, listen to me. Those of you who are envious, watch what this does. If you harbor bitter envy and selfish ambition in your hearts, do not boast about it or deny the truth. James is being a bit sarcastic. He says, such wisdom, in quotes, such wisdom does not come down from heaven, but what is it? Let's say it aloud. What is it? It is earthly. It is what? It is unspiritual. What is it? It is demonic. Envy is demonic. It is unspiritual. It is not from heaven. It is earthly and demonic. For where you have envy and selfish ambition, there you find disorder in every evil practice. We're going to kill comparisons because it is demonic. This is one of the top 10 commandments. Thou shalt not covet. It's not just unhealthy. It is sinful in the eyes of God. Therefore, we're going to kill and crush comparisons. Now, I don't know how practically this will play out in your life. Some of you may need to take a social media break because this is feeding the sin of envy. I do this occasionally for a multitude of reasons. I'll just for 6 months, 6 weeks or so, I get off of social media because I don't like to be addicted to it, and I do that for just a couple times a year just because it's helpful to me. You may need to do so. You might need to hide the feed of certain people that trigger the sin of envy in your life. Let's take it beyond social media. You may need to stop ordering certain catalogs that come to your home, cancel the subscriptions when you're always wanting something more, or delete shopping apps on your phone or stop watching home and garden TV because all you can do is sin whenever you're watching someone else's nice house and looking at your pathetic little shack, or not go to the boat show or the car show, or the hunting show, or whatever the show. We're gonna kill comparisons. Why? Because this envy, it's demonic. Every evil practice comes from within, this lust and longing for something more. And not only are we going to kill comparisons in this way, but I also find that celebrating the successes of others really purifies my heart. That when someone else is blessed in a way that I wanted to be blessed, whenever I learn to celebrate with them, it purifies the intentions of my heart. Someone else gets the job you wanted, and you're like, you know what? God must have had a reason to bless them, and with everything in me, I thank God for his blessings in their life. Someone else gets the thing that I've always wanted. God, I thank you so much that your hand of blessing is on them. God, continue to bless them. It purifies your motives. I wish I was going on vacation and my friend is skydiving off a volcano in Iceland. And, thank you, God, that they're having a good time, and this is a big blessing to them. I found that in my own heart, when I can't celebrate for others, I actually think I'm limiting what God wants to do in my life. I really do. I'll give you just one example. Over the course of our church, almost a little over 18 years now, we've been blessed that every year we've seen the people we're able to reach expand, reach more people. There were 2 seasons when we were not growing, and both times, looking back on it, I recognized that there was significant sin in my own heart. One of the seasons, we just weren't reaching new people, and we were actually declining some. And I used to drive between campuses and preach back then, and I was going by this little small church that was obviously struggling. There were like 8 cars in their parking lot. And I prayed for them, but it was kind of a prideful prayer. It was like, God bless this little church, help them. And in my mind, I was thinking, I'm so glad I'm not that church, And it was like, almost like this pride, like, we've got a lot more than 8 cars. And I really felt like God spoke to me. And I'm real careful when I say this because I've never heard the audible voice of God, so I don't know. It just seemed like it was God speaking to me. And I felt like this voice and presence said, would you really be happy if I blessed them and blessed them more than I was blessing you? And I thought, my answer wasn't really good. My answer was, nope, I wouldn't be happy. Nope, bless them a lot, but not nearly as much as you're blessing me. And I recognized at that point that my heart was very impure because it wasn't about building God's kingdom. At that point, it was more about building my own kingdom. And that's a very dangerous place for a pastor to be. And so I deeply repented and said, God, I really want to be at the place where I want you to bless other churches more than you're blessing ours. And when I could get to that place where it really was more about the kingdom, then suddenly God started to bless us with growth again. I can't prove this, and this isn't in the Bible, and this may or may not be true, but in my own heart, I live as if it would be true. Perhaps the reason why God is not blessing you with something you want is because you're not celebrating God's blessings in someone else's life, okay? I want to be careful and celebrate His blessings in someone else's life. I never want it to be about me. And if you're not getting what you want, it could be because your heart is not right. We're going to kill comparisons and celebrate God's blessings in other people's lives. So we're going to cultivate gratitude. In fact, Proverbs 15:15, this is such a powerful verse to me. It says this, for the despondent, every day brings trouble. For the despondent, every day brings trouble. Some of you, you know people like this. Some of you are people like this. Oh, it's a bad day. It's going to rain today. Oh, it's going to be a horrible day. Oh, the economy is still struggling today. Oh, I'm just so upset. Oh, my kids are always brats today. Oh, my car never really starts. And for the despondent, every single day brings trouble. But for the happy heart, life is a continual feast. For the happy heart, who might have the same day as the despondent person, the happy heart sees the blessings of it. The happy heart is always ready to see God's goodness. You see, if you want to look for bad in this world, you can find it. But if you want to look to see God working, let me tell you, you can find it. If you look for the blessings of God, you can see it. For the happy heart, it's a continual feast. In fact, of everything about my dad that I admire, the number one thing I admire is his perspective on life. Every time I talk to Dad, how's it going? Son, life is good. Like, how's it going, Dad? Life is good. For years, it used to annoy me because I thought he's just like saying that's what he says. But the reality is that's what he believes. It's in his heart. He was battling bronchitis for 2 weeks. Dad, how you doing? Life is good. Like, doesn't sound good, Dad. He's like, it is good. And then he told me, I've told you this before, he can only talk in like baseball language. And it's the only way he knows how to communicate. He said, son, I had a stroke. I'm living in extra innings right now, son. Life is good. Yep, I like that. It's for the happy heart, life is a continual feast. It's all about perspective. I'm living in extra innings, son. I've got extra time. Life is good. In fact, Solomon, who was the richest man of his time, some people would believe like dollar for dollar, the richest man of all time. He said this, Ecclesiastes 6:9. He said, enjoy, say it aloud, all of you, enjoy what you have. You guys in New York, come on, help me out, give me some love. Enjoy what you have rather than desiring what you don't have. You want to have a continual party? Enjoy what God has given you instead of longing for what you don't have. Be thankful for what God has given you instead of looking at someone's post on Instagram, oh, I wish I had their life. They're longing for your life in ways you don't even know about it as well. Enjoy what you do have rather than longing for what you do not have. So the next time you're tempted to say, I hate my stupid car, instead say, I thank God that I have a car that runs. That puts me in the top 5% or so of the wealthiest people in this world. I thank God that I have a car. I wish I had a better house. No, I thank God I've got a roof over my head and indoor plumbing that works, okay? You kind of laugh. Go and see how half the world does not have that. It's a significant blessing from God, and we are so thankful we have it. Oh, my life is so crazy. I'm so busy. Life is so crazy. I'm so busy. How you doing? I'm busy. How you doing? I'm busy. Oh, life is so crazy. I'm so busy. I am so thankful that I've got a family and children that are involved in activities and healthy and friends and a community to contribute to. I thank God that I've got things to do and places to be and people to bless. I thank God that I've got a significant life that keeps me busy doing significant things to be a blessing to other people.